You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Hi, I'm Franco Luna, Puma Podcast. You're listening to Teka Teka News. In this episode, we listen to the two sides of the alleged cover-up of the arrests of police officers in connection with the 6.7 billion peso shabu drug haul.
The fact-finding board has taken testimonies of several personalities, and based on this and other pieces of evidence, including tapes, it shows that there is indeed a massive attempt to cover up the arrest of Sergeant Mayo.
You just heard Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos at the press briefing April 10. He was talking about former Police Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo Jr., who was dismissed and arrested for possession of almost 1,000 kilograms of illegal drugs in October 2022. The DILG learned that some cops made off with confiscated drugs. They only learned this after fact-finding efforts by its National Police Commission. But that's not all. Here's a bit of background.
Nadiskubre ng kapulisan na merong mga pulis, inuwa pa, pinuslot ang 42 kilo ng shabu. Itong insidente ito ay na-capture sa isang CCTV footage. Yung ninakaw na 42 kilo ng shabu ay sinurrender at na-recover noong October 15, 2022 sa isang abandonadong kotse na nakaparada sa Bon Serrano sa San Juan, malapit sa Camp Crame.
As proof of what he called the massive attempt to cover up Mayo's arrest, Abalos showed reporters CCTV footage, and the findings were damning. It started as a routine drug bust of a lending establishment in Tondo, Manila linked to Mayo. Police arrived and questioned the caretaker when they found the establishment to be a front for the drug trade. Off-camera, Mayo was already arrested elsewhere. Suddenly, police brought the handcuffed Mayo to the site. The clips show them bringing him in and out of the establishment at least thrice. The kicker, 2 black duffel bags being loaded into a white car. Some luggage being taken out and driven away on motorcycles. Then hours later, Mayo being uncuffed and released. Mayo is seen leaving the area on board a van. His name was never mentioned in the inventory of drugs found on the scene. All this while high-ranking officers, including 2 generals, were on the scene.
Para pangalagaan ng ebidensya at parang hindi na makagalaw pa, minumungkahi ko na lahat ng mga taong nakita natin sa tape ay mag-leave muna pending investigation itong task force. If not, they will be suspended pending investigation.
That's still not all. In the report of the drug sting, Mayo wasn't the suspect who was arrested. He was listed as the arresting officer. They even recommended he get an award for the operation. Abalos bared the names of the 11 high-ranking police officials and 3 personnel allegedly involved to cover up the arrest and ask these officials to file a leave of absence.
Sa ganitong kalaking bagay, imposible si Mayo lamang. Ano ba mas importante? Yung 42 kilos o yung 990 kilos?
The highest-ranking official tagged in the scandal, former PNP Drug Enforcement Group Director Narciso Domingo, is set to face stiff penalties for grave neglect of duty. We're pausing for a quick break now. When we return, we hear the side of the police.
Definitely, ililink ako sa kahit kanino dyan. But I tell you, almost 40 years na serbisyo ko. I travel my own journey alone. They may be my friends, but definitely, kanyang-kanya na kaming diskarte sa karir namin.
That's PNP Chief Rodolfo Azurin at another press briefing on April 18.
While I believe some of the officers dragged into the controversy will be able to defend themselves, I hope they will be given their time in the proper fora or be given their day in court. But let the axe fall where it should be. Let me also categorically say that there was no attempt to cover up or to exculpate Police Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo from his involvement in the illegal drug operations. Why start a fact-finding task group in the first place if there was no intent to dig deeper into the drug mess?
Azurin also cast doubt on the findings of the DILG, the PNP's parent agency.
Let us focus on the real enemy. Let me call the attention also of our kind SILG, the Honorable Benjamin Benhur Abalos Jr., to take a second look on the people who may be feeding him misinformation, to cast doubt on the integrity of the PNP organization, which is also under his authority.
But Mayo's case is no isolated incident within the PNP. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency was also just in the news for a dubious practice: PDEA agents paying drug informants with confiscated drugs instead of cash. Here's PNP Chief Rodolfo Azurin again talking not just to the press but to his fellow police officers as well. He was calling to trust in the justice system, but even he has to admit,
Let us try to see the drug affectation of our barangay, of our workplace, of the different sectors in our society, the media. Baka we are just being used wittingly or unwittingly. So huwag po tayong naiinip. We need to believe in our justice system dahil polluted na po halos lahat ng sangay ng gobyerno po natin.
49 policemen will be charged for allegedly acting for their own gain and interest in the seizure of 990 kilos of shabu. While the PNP Drug Enforcement Group's Brigadier General Narciso Domingo, who personally led the operation to seize the drug haul and arrest Mayo, was reassigned to the office of the PNP chief. Major General Eliseo Cruz, chief of the PNP Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management, said the indictments will be made as soon as possible. And that was today's episode of Teka Teka News. Again, I'm Franco Luna. This episode was edited by Pidoy Blanco. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend or two. And of course, don't forget to follow Teka Teka News and Puma Podcast on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Thanks for listening.